Welcome to NewsClick. Let's dive straight in to the story that is dominating headlines across the country and the world. It's not the communal virus, unfortunately. We could spend a lot of time discussing that, but we're going to talk about the coronavirus. This has affected livelihoods, lives, economies. A huge number of people have been greatly distressed by it, and it has caused health scares around the world to a delirious level. And in the studio here, we have Dr. Rajat Chauhan, who, just because he's a doctor, is better qualified than anyone else to talk about this. And Leslie Xavier, who is not a doctor, but is still well qualified to talk about this, because we are going to be talking about how coronavirus impacts sport. So let's dive straight in. Coronavirus, Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, it's Japan, almost 800 cases now reported.
Yes.
And they're attributing it to that quarantine ship that they have, because Yokohama.
The SS coronavirus.
Yeah. Outside Yokohama it was quarantined, but then the disease has spread from Yokohama city, but then it has reached Tokyo and other places as well. It has, so the scare is serious in so much so that they have cancelled most of the Olympic trial competitions that were supposed to be held in testing the venues. And the latest was Tokyo Marathon, which they did be. I mean, imagine a marathon being held behind closed doors. No spectators, nothing. Only elite runners taking part in it. Highly sanitized.
That must have felt like the Delhi Marathon, right?
Oh, Delhi Marathon.
Just saying.
No, mass participation. I mean, is the hallmark of marathon. So that itself, it's symbolic. What has coronavirus done to the sporting world? Because it's dangerous. It's a very pretty serious. It's reaching pandemic proportions, and organizers have taken cognizance of it. So, what Tokyo Olympics organizers are worried about is obviously the financial implications of this. So they are playing the IOC, International Olympic Committee, as well as the Tokyo Olympic Games organizers are playing the waiting game, saying that they are hoping that a vaccine would be. The scientists who are working on it, they would figure out a vaccine, or they would be able to contain this virus, or virus would, get into a natural.
It'll die in April, according to Donald Trump, because it gets a little warm.
So that's the thing. That's where Dr. Rajat also comes in. There have been a lot of myths going around around this virus, and also the fact that in India we seem to be oblivious to the dangers around it. So, Doctor.
So first, Doc, I want to ask you, is there's this one alcoholic company? Are we going to get the virus if we drink it?
No, it's
okay. Okay, great. That we are safe. So next, you organize a sporting event.
Yeah.
So I want to get an insight from you about the implications of cancelling. Even though the sporting event that you organize is not at the level of the Olympics, but the economic implications of cancelling an event. And second, if you don't cancel and there is this health hazard going around, how do you communicate this to athletes? How do you make them feel safe? And just that whole thing also.
So how do you justify it?
Yes, also, absolutely.
Public safety has that.
Yeah, both sides, right? So I think my event, or whether it's an Olympic, you're building up over 10 years at least. And suddenly a lot of lives are going to be affected if you do cancel it. So the implications are going to be massive. We're talking about bankruptcies across the board, countries, not just companies. So massive implications. Having said that, would you have that, or do you have a million
loss
people
of
dead?
human life?
Yeah, exactly.
Depends on who you are, I guess, to answer this question. If you're a guy who's, the energy drink manufacturer that is going to lose millions.
No, they're not bulletproof or coronavirus proof. It'll affect them as well. And how much money, or any money, can you take up there? I don't think so, any at all. So I think no, money can't be first. Even whatever's happening in India with our communal virus versus, we need to be very clear that material is not going anywhere of any sorts, including money. So I think in any case, as much money as will be lost, I think lives come first. Because all countries are coming together. Imagine that. And it becomes the hub which can take it across the world. So if it wasn't a pandemic in the truest sense, it will be soon after the Olympics then.
Okay.
Just imagine that.
So if you if they do cancel the Olympics,
Yeah.
then there's obviously like an economic impact,
Yeah.
which is going to be massive.
Massive, yeah.
Right. But I'm also like just thinking about the sporting impact, and this is like a really like it seems like a really cheap thought to have. But what about all these athletes who've been preparing for their lives? Like, I
Exactly.
mean,
So that's the.
I mean,
it's
just want to point out that the Olympics have only been cancelled twice in the history of the modern games, and they were both during the World War, the Second World War.
Second World War.
So this is going to be a huge thing. So can you like less like?
So the athletes themselves, they obviously look forward to they base their lives and the last 4 years building and trying to peak at the Olympic year and win a medal at the Olympics, or even being there for them is a big achievement as far as their resume is concerned. But then again, what they should question themselves is whether it's worth it. That's also a point. This is as far as athletes are concerned. Of course, this is not in their own hands. They can probably make a personal choice if at all the games go ahead, and there are still dangers. The virus is not contained there. There's no vaccine as such, and it's still dangerous to go out there. Then they can probably make personal choices like many athletes do. But even for instance, last Olympic Games, Zika virus outbreak was there, and there were a few athletes who chose to stay out of it. Some prominent golfers didn't go for the golf event at the games there in Rio. So personal choices they can make, obviously, and I feel that the athletes should make those personal choices, conveying and expressing the right message, saying that we are taking cognizance of this and we are doing a selfless act and conveying this message to the larger masses, saying that this is a serious issue, health issue.
This is like a big thing because you're talking about like athletes now speaking up and
Yeah.
providing awareness to people, which brings me to the next thing, which is Indian athletes. Okay, India refused to participate in an event recently
Yeah.
because
Shooting.
Because of
Let's call it out.
Yeah. I'm going to
Just
say
gonna get it.
it's shooting, right? And because they didn't want to risk their athletes' health because of this global scare.
Yes,
They're having the Shooting World Cup now here. They've decided to not cancel it.
So I was checking with someone connected with the organizers this morning about the Shooting World Cup that's going to start in March 16 here at the Karni Singh shooting range in Delhi. So we're saying that as far as we are concerned now, the event is on the green. We are going to conduct it. 6 teams are pulled out of the event already. And last month, India didn't send its shotgun shooting team to Cyprus. The same international shooting for ISS.
Did they need the shotguns here, or what was it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So that's a larger topic that we can discuss, I guess. But so they didn't send a team there, and Cyprus at that point, even now, I guess, even till date, there's not been a reported case there. There have been quarantines because they are careful about whoever has travelled to Italy, for instance, and all that. So, but otherwise, there has not been a case. And
There have been reported cases in Delhi, by the
Delhi,
way, as of today morning.
Yeah.
And so, what the Shooting Federation had cited at that point was that there have been directives to us from the health officials, and also we don't want to risk our athletes. So, are the athletes not on risk when these foreign athletes will come here, foreign shooters will come here, traveling via whatever destinations that they are traveling by, and then, I mean, it's open season then. Open shooting season, if you call them, because anybody can be a carrier.
So actually, like, perfect. So, Doc, I want to like also, this can also be a nice little bit for just the viewers watching this, all 7 of them. What the basic methods of contracting this is, how you can prevent this. Like, can you just give me a basic idea of like how, say, athletes could contract this, and this would also apply to normal people.
And also whether being in a stadium atmosphere where there are thousands convene, does it magnify the?
I mean, this is essentially it's like you're in a crowd.
Yeah.
You're in a crowded space.
Yeah.
And here's this thing.
So to be honest, no one is very sure. It's too new.
Okay.
Right? And what we really figured so far, and we as in doctors, the medical fraternity, coughing and sneezing being the biggest, so the droplets having the virus on it goes wherever it does when you do that. And saying masks, is it really helping much? Because it's 900th the size of a hair, human hair, is what this virus is. So if you're wearing just those surgical masks, useless. Like coming here, we taken an Uber, the guy was wearing a mask, and I was like, you know what? It will not help you. If it does come along, this is not going to be helpful. Second thing is what CDC and what WHO is saying. One says 3 feet, the other one says at least 6 feet away if someone is infected. One, you don't know who's infected. Because someone who's turned to be negative on a test could yet be positive in the sense like, he has the virus. Right?
I think a gestational period is something around 20 days. Or
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to insinuate anything, but on an Iranian talk show, there was a gentleman on the talk show saying that the virus is under control, and 3 days later he was
Dead.
No, not dead. He was reported to have contracted
Positive.
it.
No, I think one of them similar story where the guy was.
Yeah.
I think he's gone. I think.
Oh.
Right. If I remember.
So there you go. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
my point being that you're in a crowded space.
Yeah.
You're at like.
So that's what 3 to 6 feet is what we are talking about. So one organization says 3 is safe. The other one says no, 6 feet. So CDC versus WHO types I'm talking about. So very renowned, really know what they're talking about. So let's say 6 feet, okay? If you're in a crowd, where do you have 6 feet around you? You don't have a balloon that you're carrying, and you sit within and then do this thing. The big thing that we're talking about is 2 ways. Is hands. So keep washing your hands with soap, water. That's far better than what you started off with, the alcohol bit. So alcohol sanitizers are good. People are saying, but this is a virus, this is not a bacteria. Those sanitizers are better for bacteria. True, but it's not rhino virus that you're talking about. So it can be killed by, if it is more than 60% alcohol content in it. So don't try making it at home, because then, you can get skin irritations and allergies and all that, or, whatever else. But regular things that are available out there, commercially available sanitizers, they do the job. Easiest one, wash your hands with soap, right? So keep doing that on a very regular basis. Other one, which what Leslie just did, touching the face. That's being said to please be careful with, because nose, eyes, and the mouth, the mucus, wherever is coming from, we tend to touch 50% when we touch our face, we're touching around there. So the mucus has been touched. So if you've contacted somewhere else, it's gone in, right? And you're now infected or will be, right? So start simple things, holding a pen, for example. So it stops touching the face a lot more, right? And a study that was done on small numbers of people, it showed that up to 24 to 25 times in an hour, we are touching our faces, and this was done on medical students. So if people just try working on these 2, please, that'll be good. Masks, similar to whatever Delhi guys are used to with pollution, stick to your mask like that. We are super experts at that.
Yeah.
So stick to masks which are worthy of something rather than just the surgical masks.
But then, you mentioned that it would be beneficial for our viewers, and I believe that most of our viewers are Indians. But then, if you look at Indian sports organizers, they seem to have not, taken this seriously at all. Even the government has not taken it seriously. They are suggesting.
क्योंकि यार इंडियन स्पोर्ट्स वेन्यूज पे देखने कौन जाता है?
जाता तो है वैसे.
क्रिकेट ना हो तो.
IPL season is coming up. Will they cancel IPL? IPL is big. It's a huge crowd.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about ISL, which is happening now. There is a crowd. I know only 10 people go there, but 10 is 10.
No, but yet, where are the 6 feet? Even when those 10 are there, we are still closer than that.
And as we speak, our boxers are competing in the Asian Olympic qualifiers. Wrestlers are going to compete in the coming month in Kazakhstan, and they shifted the venue from China. Both the tournament where competitions were supposed to happen in China, they shifted to other venues, but that doesn't mean that those venues are safe, because it's nothing is safe anymore. Globally, doctor was telling earlier, globally 91,000
as of yesterday,
cases,
as of today, yeah,
reported cases, but there are many which are
3,000.
unreported.
So actually, I love the Shooting Federation of India, because they have provided us with a great solution anyway.
Shoot.
Which is that for all of you who watch a little bit of the sports news, you know that now the Commonwealth Shooting Championships will be separated from the Commonwealth Games, because Birmingham didn't have a shooting venue, so India is going to host it, and it will be added on to the final medals tally. I believe the Olympics should be like that. Every country should host their own.
So the diseases will be contained, you're saying?
It'll be contained in that country.
I mean,
So we can have like Kho-Kho and Kabaddi. We're willing to host. हम जीत भी जाएंगे.
So the
gold.
economic pressures of hosting this is slightly on a tangent, but is connected also. I'll bring it there. Economic pressures of hosting a multi-sport discipline is huge, and cities are hardly any cities now come forward to bid to start with. Olympic Games is still happening. Winter Olympics, people are struggling again, and no one breaks even. Forget making a profit. No one breaks even, and that so in the near future, in the far future, I'm not sure how many years will this model of games survive. We may see localized competitions more than in any case. It's heading that way because multisport is not financially becoming very unviable. And that brings us to Tokyo and how much money they have spent. And on record, they say that it's $9 billion US, 1 trillion yen. And that's on record because I'm sure there is some kind of, I mean, it's much more. But it's significant.
There must be hidden costs also. Which
significantly lesser than what the cost was, for instance, in Beijing. Beijing was a huge spectacle, 45 billion US dollars. And I think Sochi Games was much higher than that, I think. Obviously Russians. So,
I mean, also like I believe that Tokyo must have had a certain set of infrastructure in place which has probably helped them. Just upgradation
no,
and perhaps
upgradations have been there. They have built state-of-the-art new technology, but they have also invested in stuff which would, I mean, legacy idea is much more huge among Japanese in general. So they have planned it in such a way that these things are going to last. For instance, the network that they have created for public transport, the driverless car network on the road that they have created, the things that
so it's not only the games.
It's not about the games as such, but then the money that has been spent, they were hoping to get it back via the games in
some
this
way.
thing. And
tourism.
Tourism. And post that, sustainable tourism, I mean sustained footfalls in tourism. Japan is big in tourism in any case, and their tourism industry has suffered. I was reading a bit about the economy in Japan, and they are slowly hitting recession. That's what and economists over there in that country is already worried. They have the government has pumped in some kind of rescue package money, unlike our government who don't believe that there is a slowdown at all. There is
a rescue package for unemployed youth in this country also.
No, but
you get to do World Cup shooting.
No, but see, it's been happening even before the March or 6th March or whatever it is, right? We've been practicing it on the streets. So,
and then beyond that, beyond the implications for Japan, there is also an implication for global sport. So the financial gains or the percentage of financial gain that the International Olympic Committee gets from each Olympic games, they give it back to the sport. They give it back to global sport, they give it back to countries, federations for development of grassroots, development of sporting infrastructure in areas where sport, in countries where it's very difficult to build that infrastructure on their own. So that this crisis, and if at all this leads to a cancellation, that's going to impact not just the immediate investors in it, but it's going to impact the future at a larger level of sport. So that is a larger implication as such. But future of sport versus the future of humankind that way, because we are talking about lives here too. So that's the question, and we have to take that call, and we have to take a serious call. And the serious call is that sport can wait for now, because we have to be careful about it. We have to protect our people, protect our athletes, and give out the right signal also. We care about our lives. Last winter, they held a cricket match during the height of smog year, India versus Bangladesh. 50,000 people in the stadium breathing this, players getting sick, playing in the ground. And the organizers, BCCI, they just showed that they don't care. I just want to say that
those players who were getting sick were outsiders. They were not our guys.
No, but seriously, you see, talking about sports, Olympics, all that, we know how much is it today, amateur versus very professional, very capitalistic backed. it isn't anymore about let's play a fair game. I mean, who's winning anything being fair? Politics to sports. So point is, we've gone beyond whatever Olympics stands for. It could very well be the last Olympics, if at all. Maybe last is already gone. Big deal. Because the point really is, in this rat race, we've spoiled whatever Olympics stands for. So if we are going to do regional stuff, particular sports in particular regions, so be it, we are really risking, are we talking about 1/10 humanity being wiped out just because of Olympics? It's a simple question to answer then. If it's going to be like that, I mean, what money are you talking about? It can be as serious as that.
I think this is a story that's still developing.
Yeah.
There's like the IOC, there's been members of the committee who've come out and said that they are actually looking at cancelling the Olympics.
The cutoff is May. They say that
Yes.
we'll wait till May
And
to
then-
take a final call on this.
Fair. Yeah.
But I'm just, whenever I think about cancelling the Olympics and all the sense that you guys have just talked about, and just, the amount of common sense it makes, all I can think about is that picture when the Tokyo Olympic Committee that bid for the Olympics, the joy on their faces when they won the bid, all I keep flashing back is that.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking about all those athletes for whom it's a dream to play at the Olympics. But, of course, sometimes sports has to take a back seat. This is a story that's still developing. We'll keep updating you as and when we get to know more and as and when things unfold. Thanks for watching.
Stay safe.